Hello, I want to welcome everyone to another amazing episode of Succeed Success Group. And today we have a super important topic, and we have a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Just like all of the things that we go over and cover and get into on the channel, this is one that is really important to me. And, I want it to be really important to you as well. And I want to just start out by saying that this video pertains to everybody. You do not have to be an aspiring Division I athlete. You do not have to be someone who is trying to, obtain a scholarship for you to find relevance within this video. But I do want to say that, obtaining a Division I scholarship is something that I had the fortunate opportunity to do. And, if you have those aspirations, if you have those goals, I'm going to give you some of the steps and things that it takes to get there. And so, we're going to dive into an amazing topic, how to go D1. And, if you want to go D1, I want you to get there. I want to give you all the tools and steps that it's going to take to get there. And as you're on your journey, if you need assistance or guidance from me, I definitely want you to reach out. I'm going to have other videos on this topic. I'm going to have different ways that you can reach out to me and the platform and things of that nature as to where you can learn, more and more about how to reach your success journey. And in this particular video, how to go D1, no matter what sport you're playing. It could be baseball, football, basketball, swimming, golf, tennis, wrestling. It doesn't matter. I want you to get there. I want you to be the best athlete you can be, the best student athlete you can be. And everything that you're going to hear in this video, if you don't play sports, I want you to apply these techniques and these aspects to your regular everyday life. So, right, if you're in high school and you're not playing sports, how can I get to Duke? How can I get to Princeton? How can I get to Harvard? How can I get to New Mexico State? How can I get to Wisconsin? How can I get to, Colorado State? How can I get to University of Colorado? How can I get to LSU? How can I get to UCLA? How can I get to some of these amazing institutions that will pretty much set you up on, success paths that you can use for your entire life. A lot of athletes who have went D1 have, either gone pro, and if they haven't gone pro at some sort of level, they are achieving success in their life. Maybe they're business owners, maybe they're CEOs, maybe they have great careers and things of this nature. But when you look back, it all started from that D1 Division I background and them obtaining that Division I scholarship. So real quick before we get into these different topics, I just want to give you a little bit of a background on myself. I had the fortunate opportunity to start at a small college, but it was a D1 college. So one of my hardest decisions at the particular time coming out of high school was whether or not I should go to this Division I college. And, I had a couple other Division I visits, but I was really thinking about going to a college that was not D1. To be honest with you, it was an easy decision for me because I wanted to go D1 so bad that kind of, eliminated that particular college. So, I had the fortunate opportunity to play at this college. It was a small D1 college, but we really had talent, right? There was some real talent on the team. And so we were beating, Arizona State. We were beating Oregon State. We were beating all these top tier Division I programs at a smaller Division I program. And I think this really set me up on the path for success. We also had a player on my team who won the NCAA Slam Dunk Contest. And he was getting major NBA looks. So he was going to different NBA tryouts and things of that nature. He would come back to campus and just tell us how it went and kind of break down, some of the activities and things that the scouts were looking for and things of that nature. So, that was my start. Unfortunately, that program, they had to end the program going into my sophomore year. And so I had the opportunity to redshirt, and then, a real blessing came about. I had the opportunity to go to a higher Division I college and play for a legendary coach. And, he's one of the most top 10 winningest coaches in NCAA history, Lou Henson. And so I'm going to do a whole nother video, actually a couple videos on Lou Henson. There will be a tribute that I'm going to do to him because, in my opinion, he was an amazing coach, a flat-out legend, and I was fortunate to have the opportunity to play for him within my NCAA Division I career. And so, first and foremost, subscribe to the channel, hit that like, turn on the bell so you can be alerted to all post notifications so you can find out when we're dropping, amazing content, and you can stay in tune and stay in the loop with the channel and just what we have going on. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed thus far. If you're watching the video, please subscribe. It only makes sense, right? It only makes sense. So go ahead and subscribe, enjoy the content, enjoy the channel. Also, be aware of my second channel that I just started, so it's very new, and it's called SSG Talk. And so there'll be a lot of amazing interviews and different things of that nature on that particular platform. But just be aware of both. Really excited about SSG Talk, super excited about Succeed Success Group. So let's get right into today's topic, right? I want you to go D1. I want you to be the best student athlete you can be. And I'm just going to give you some tips and things of that nature as to how you can get there. And I want you to get there. And I want to say this too. This video is in no way a slight to Division II programs or Division III programs. I feel that if you're a student athlete at the high school level, your goal should be to play, right? So you want to go D1 if you have the talent and the opportunity to go D1 and actually play. If you are at the D2 level and you're getting a lot of looks from D2 schools, that's amazing, right? So that's an amazing opportunity for yourself in your platform on your path. If you're getting, looked at by D3 schools, that is also an amazing opportunity. So I don't knock people who play at different levels within their collegiate career. It's just a blessing to play at any level in the, NCAA or D2, D3, things of that nature. So, I do want you to go D1, but the main thing that I want you to understand is it is very important to go somewhere where you're going to play. And that brings me up to another point. Let's say you're at the D1 level and you have two different schools looking at you. One could be a Duke, let's say. Let's just take Duke, Kentucky, University of Florida. And then you have some mid-major schools. Maybe it's a Cleveland State or it could be New Mexico State, right? In the middle. Different schools. Valparaiso, whatever the case may be, you want to go to the D1 program where you're going to play. So you have to ask yourself, would you rather go to, let's say, Penn State, which is actually pretty high level, probably go a little lower than that. Would you rather go to, let's say Florida International University? Would you rather go to FIU and start and play all 4 years and really just run the team, run the program, or would you rather go to, University of Georgia, for example, maybe where you never play, or, Kentucky where you never play? In my opinion, it's better for you to go to a program where you're actually going to get on the court, get on the field, and get out there and do your thing. So you have to really think about that when you're researching, where you want to play D1 and where you want to go D1. You want to play. That's the main thing, right? You want to play. Then if you have aspirations of going to a professional level within your play, within your sport, you have to play to get there. If you're at Michigan State for 4 years, let's say, if you're at University of Michigan, for 4 years, another amazing institution, and you never play, do you think that that's going to give you a better opportunity to make it as a professional athlete? Or do you think you have a better opportunity if you go to a low D1 or a mid-major D1 and you start off 4 years, you dominate, you run the conference, you're one of the leading scorers in the conference, or one of the leading scorers possibly in the nation from that mid-major, right? So I just want to remind you, there are a lot of players to stand out real quick in my mind. I believe NBA legends, they actually played for the Bulls, and neither one of them went to, a North Carolina like Michael Jordan. But you have Scottie Pippen, and then you have Dennis Rodman. Both of them went to mid-major colleges and ended up being NBA legends. So, go where you're going to play. Now, I want to say this first and foremost. If you want to go D1 and you're trying to go D1, it has to be in your heart. You have to really want to go D1. You have to want it like with a burning desire, with a passion. Every day you need to be telling yourself, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to obtain this. This is how I'm going to get there. And it's the same thing with anything in life. You have to have a burning desire to want it, a thirst. You have to be willing to learn and listen and kind of use what other people are giving you in terms of coaches, mentors, mentorships, games, and different things of that nature. You have to actually utilize what people are saying. If you are stubborn, hard-headed, you can't be coached, you're a hothead, then you might not make it to the D1 level because you're not allowing yourself to grow. You're not allowing yourself to learn when people are trying to teach you. And, you do have to be careful in some instances of what you're being taught and whether or not that's a reputable source. But if it is and you're not listening, then you're tripping. You also have to understand that there are so many athletes in the country. There are so many athletes in the world. So if you're not working on your craft, if you're not out there trying to get it every single day and practice and work hard in the summer and just push the envelope and work and practice and get better and lift weights and run and jog and swim and breathe and do all of these different things, then understand there's hundreds of kids, thousands of kids who are doing that. And I tell this to, my students all the time, while you're not working or where you're not taking advantage of your opportunities, there are thousands of kids who are, and that's who you're up against. So, if you're a slacker, if you're lazy, if you're not motivated, if you don't really want it, then you're not going to go D1. The people that you see who have went D1 are extremely focused, dedicated, and committed to their craft. The people that you see who have gotten to the professional level are extremely motivated, focused, and dedicated on their craft, or they wouldn't have gotten there. Whether or not they're starters, whether or not they never played a minute within their professional career, they're focused. They couldn't have gotten there if they're not. If you're a practice player on an NFL team, think about the amount of work that you put in to become a practice player and have a salary of over $100,000. That's a great career, but it's not easy. And so I want you to understand that to go D1, it's not easy, but I also want you to have the mind frame that it is easy because you're putting in the work. So, you have to have the mentality that, hey, this is something that I'm definitely going to do. This is something that I can do and something that I will do. And so I'm going to give you a little story. When I was in high school, I did not know a thing about manifestation. I never heard of the word. It wasn't really popular when I was in high school, the word or the term or the terminology behind manifestation. But something that I would do along with one of my buddies, and I'm not encouraging you to do this at all, but I've told this to people in the past. But for some particular classes, when I was in class at the high school level, I keep in mind, I went to one of the best high schools in the city where I'm from for academics and sports, and we had an amazing sports program. So this was not, a low-performing school at all. But for some of the classes, I was so focused and so dedicated to go D1 that sometimes when we had class work that would be due at the end of the period, in that particular class for the entire 40 to 45 minutes, I would write D1 on a sheet of paper over and over again. And I would constantly do this. My buddy and I had different people, who really wanted to go D1 based on our energy around the topic of D1. So again, sometimes in class I would write D1 on a sheet of paper for the whole period and turn it in to the teacher and tell them to have a great day. Now, do I encourage you to do that? No. Was I a very good student? Yes. So no, I wasn't doing this and then not doing my homework or having an F in the class or whatever the case may be, but I was just really, really focused and committed on going D1. And I didn't know this at the time, but by writing D1 on a sheet of paper every single day for an entire 40-minute class session, and I know that sounds crazy, but this is really how bad I wanted it, I was manifesting the process of me going D1 without even knowing it. I didn't even know what manifestation was. But I was writing this every single day. I was thinking about this every single day, just wanting to get that opportunity to go to the next level, the D1 level. And fortunate enough for me, it did happen, and it's going to happen for you as well. Keep pushing, keep working hard, keep striving for excellence, and you're going to get to that level. Now, let's go over some key steps that I believe will help you to get to the D1 level. But like I said, first and foremost, you got to have heart. You got to be a dog. You got to be a warrior. You got to be a demon. You got to, and I say demon because that was my AAU basketball team, but you have to really want it. You got to really want it bad. That's with anything in life. Like, you're not going to get it if you don't want it. There are going to be other people who are going to want it more than you, and they're just going to pass you up. So, want it. Now, let me say this too. Something that I really encourage all high school athletes to do who are trying to go D1 is, it starts early too. Play with people that are older than you. So when you're 8th grade, you should be playing with seniors in high school. When you're a freshman in high school, you should be playing with seniors in high school. When you're a 7th grader, you should be playing with sophomores in high school. When you play with people that are older than you, you get better no matter what, flat out. It's just a fact, because the people that are older than you are probably more developed. They push you around, they throw you down, you lose, you constantly lose, but you might be beating some of these guys. But what happens is that when you play with the older people in the older crowd, then you start dominating them. By the time you play with your crowd and your group, you run through them like it's easy. You see what I'm saying? So you want to always be playing and surrounding yourself with older people, older talent, within sports, because that's really how you achieve greatness. Now, it's the same thing if you're not a student athlete. If you're in high school, you should have a person who's in college that's your mentor. If you're in college, you should have a person that's a CEO of a company that's your mentor. If you can find that person early and tap in early, you'll reach exponential growth fast. So you got to find people that are, I guess at a higher level than you, and surround yourself with those people, because then you build yourself up to that level. And next thing you know, you're at that level and you're going higher and higher and higher and growing and growing and growing. So, these are things, I like to call them game, but I'm giving you a lot of game on this channel. I'm going to give you a lot of game so that you can just reach top levels of success. Now, let me go through, I don't know, it might be around 10 tips here. Then we're going to get into some academic eligibility things and things of that nature. And again, I hope you're enjoying this topic. This is a good one, guys. Let's get into it. How to go D1. Hope you like the thumbnail. If you take a look on the thumbnail, you'll see an arrow pointing up on the map. The arrow is pointing to New Mexico State. That's actually where I played and went to college, New Mexico State University. Then I started at a college earlier, and that was Northeastern Illinois University. Amazing programs, amazing coaches, amazing people, and an amazing culture and environment. So, number one, and I might have brought some of these points up a little earlier, so I won't touch on those as much, but you got to really want it. You got to want it. It's got to be in your heart. You got to, you got to live this. You got to want it. You got to say, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice this. I'm not going to go to the parties every day. I'm not going to be smoking weed with these people that are, not at where I need to be. I'm not going to be trying to gang bang and do all of these things. I'm not going to go drinking all day. You shouldn't even know what those things are as a student athlete at the high school level. You should have no clue about what any of those things are, because those will slow you down from reaching your goals. You have to have talent. So let me say this right now. In order to go D1, you got to be like I said earlier, you got to be a dog. You got to have talent. You got to, you got to be able to, play the game. You got to know the game. You got to know the ins and outs of the game and be a student of the game, well-rounded. That really helps out. If you're a receiver, you need to learn how to block. You need to learn how to run routes. You need to learn how to catch the ball. You need to learn how to, do whatever you need to do to get open or to get a touchdown. So if you're a basketball player, you need to learn how to dribble and box out and rebound and post up and triple threat, and you gotta have talent. Whatever sport you're playing, you gotta have talent. That really helps to get to the D1 level. If you don't have any talent at all, you might not even make your high school team, let alone go D1. So you gotta be talented, but that's with everything in life. Number 3, you have to understand there are thousands of people, and I mentioned this earlier, thousands of people who are trying to get to where you're trying to get to. They're trying to do exactly what you're trying to do. If you miss a day of practice, understand there's 1,000 kids who didn't miss a day of practice. If you're not really focused and you took the whole summer off and you didn't work in the summer, you're trying to do this and do that and do this and do that. There's thousands of kids who just work on their game in the summer every day for 5 hours. They're eating right, they're working out, and it's gotten so crazy now where you're not only competing with the talent in your country, you're competing with talent all around the world. So if you live in Italy and you're trying to go, D1, or you're trying to go to the professional level, you got to go against the whole America. If you're in America and you're trying to go D1, you have to go against people in Kentucky and Alabama and Florida and California and Pennsylvania and Texas and Chicago, Indiana, Wisconsin, Oklahoma. The list goes on and on and on. And then if you're trying to go pro, you got to deal with the whole world. You have people in Africa, London, France, all trying to go pro and get there. So you're up against a lot. So you really don't have time to waste. You really don't have time to, just sit back and chill if you're really trying to go D1. If you're really trying to go D1, you got to go out there every day and you got to get after it. You got to get it and you got to get it good. You got to really work. If you're in season, right, you're obviously working, but if you're out of season, you got to be working just like you were in season. So by the time the next season starts, you're ready to go. So, understand you're not the only one trying to do this. Number 4, when you are not practicing on your game, others are, okay? Talked about that in number 3. Number 5, you must play on your high school team if you're trying to go D1. It is very rare that there's a player that didn't play on their high school team that somehow lands a Division I scholarship or even gets the opportunity to play D1. Does this happen? Yes. It's a small percentage, maybe 1, 2, at the most 5%, if that. But again, I stick to the 1, 2. The large majority of D1 athletes that are playing Division I athletes have played on their high school team. And they're dominating on their high school team. That's another thing that I don't even have down that I want to talk about is to go D1, you got to dominate, right? You can't just have an okay career in high school. You have to actually dominate your position. You have to dominate the sport and really kind of make a name for yourself and stand out. But understand that you got to play on your high school team. I sometimes talk to people who are in school, in high school and things, and they'll tell me they want to go pro or they want to go D1 or whatever. And I'm like, well, are you playing on your high school team? And then some people will say yes and some will say no. And for the ones who say no, I'm like, well, do you really think you're going to go D1 if you're not playing for your high school team? It's tough. It's tough. Now, I do want to say this. I'm not here to discourage anyone. If you don't make your high school team, it's not over with. You have the next season, you have the next year, right? You can still make it. So don't give up on yourself and don't beat yourself up if you don't make that team. That might have not been your opportunity. That might not have been the right time. Go for another sport or try again next season, or, talk to the coach. Don't give up. Coaches like to see kids and players who really want it, right? I've coached before, and you know, high school coaches, college coaches, professional coaches, they want players that are thirsty to win and will help the team and really want to help the team. So, you know, understand that you have to really be somebody that's an asset to that program, you know, but you got to play on your high school team. And this brings me to my next point. In order to go D1 in today's game, you have to be playing more than just on your high school team. That cannot be it. You can't just say, hey, I just play on my high school team during the season and that's it. Now, there are some people who do that, and that is amazing for them. But if you're trying to go D1, what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to do more. You have to play AAU. You have to play in the summer. You have to get into different camps and combines and traveling teams and things of that nature. You have to be on another team that, you know, is playing the sport that you're playing, you know, on a regular basis. So basically, you play your high school season and think about how many more games and how many more reps and how much more competition that you're going to face when you play on that other team, right? So that's very important for the youth to play on multiple teams. And really, it only needs to be two, right? It only needs to be two, but also you have camps and things of that nature. But you have to be playing extra games. You have to be getting in extra work in order to go to the D1 level. Go to where you're going to play. So I mentioned this earlier. This is for high school athlete as well as college athletes. Now we're talking about D1. Go to where you're going to play, unless you want to just, you know, go somewhere and not play. But, you know, your goal should be to play, to get out there and show people that you're talented and that you've been putting in this work and you're ready to go. So in my opinion, go to where you're going to play. That's really, really important. Talk to the head coach. Talk to the coaches at the program that's recruiting you. You know, you have to get a good feel for the institution and understand whether or not this is a good fit for you. You have to find out if the coach that you're trying to play for at the Division I level has your best interest, and he's going to put you out there and let you do your thing. You have to find out, you know, what type of offense do they run? What type of defense do they run? Where do you see me fitting into the program? These are very, very important conversations that you must think about and you must have when you're choosing the Division I program that you want to go to. You have to do this. You have to talk to the coach. You have to get an understand and a feel if they have your best interest. And this might not happen from one conversation. It might be more than one conversation. And obviously I want to say this in terms of this particular point. Make sure you're meeting the rules and regulations of NCAA in terms of talking to a coach. So, you know, I'm not talking or telling you, to do anything illegal in terms of the recruitment process at all. I'm just telling you that, you know, if you're being recruited and there's that window of time to talk to your coach, talk to them, get a feel for what they are trying to do with you and what their goals are for you for the long term. Now, you can also involve parents in this process. And if you have a trusted coach or coaches, you can involve them as well in this particular process. But it's extremely important. Don't go in blind. You know, maybe you expect to start at this particular program as a freshman, but the coach is not trying to do that with you at all. So, you know, there are different questions that you want to ask. Well, like, hey, do I have an opportunity to start as a freshman? Or, you know, am I going to play a lot? You know, where do you foresee me fitting in on the team? You know, do you believe in freshmen starting? You know, all of these different things you have to really take into place when you're trying to go D1. Also, in certain situations, it helps to look at different players that are already on the team. You know, do they have a senior class that is just like out of this world and you're just not going to play because the seniors are just amazing and they started last year as juniors and they won a championship? You know, you have to take all of these different things into consideration when you're thinking about going D1, because again, your number one objective should be to play and actually get out there and do your thing. So really take these in consideration. Extremely, extremely important point. Okay, I forget what number we're on, but make sure you graduate unless you go early and go pro. So understand that college for a student in college for a student athlete is a business. So, you know, you're getting into different territories where it is a business, and you don't want the college or the program to use you. You want to use the program. You want to get that scholarship, but you also want to get that degree. And the only way I wouldn't, encourage you to get the degree is if you have an opportunity to leave early and go to the professional level. Then I think the degree can definitely wait. And if you want, you can definitely go back at some point and get that degree. You can take classes in the summer and things of that nature. There are plenty of professional athletes who have done that, at different times in their professional career. Extremely important. But make sure you use the university and don't let the university use you, or don't let the program use you. That is extremely important. Now, in today's day and age, in today's game, in today's system, it is very lucrative for you to be a Division I athlete. And by that I mean NIL deals. I mean, just having the best life that you can in college. Meals and smoothies and workout facilities and traveling and free gear, and those are the basics. In today's game, you have some D1 athletes who are making millions of dollars. Yes, that's right, millions of dollars. So you have that opportunity now as a D1 athlete to get an NIL deal and be a millionaire. I mean, I'm going to say that again. You have the opportunity to get an NIL deal and make some real money before you even graduate. So that is extremely encouraging to me. I wish that was something that was going on when I was playing college sports. It wasn't, but it is now. And I'm definitely encouraging you, if you have the talent, the connections, and the ability, then, it could be very lucrative. I'm going to do a whole nother video at some point on the University of Utah football program. I'm not going to tell you, what they have going on, but every scholarship Division I athlete had a very fortunate opportunity happen to them. So I'm going to do a whole nother video on that particular topic, and I'm looking forward to that. But it's lucrative if you make it to the D1 level. Whether or not you get an NIL deal or not, it's still a very lucrative opportunity. Now, let me say this real quick. I'm going to do another video on NIL deals. In order to get an NIL deal, you have to be talented, you have to be a dog, you have to have a little bit of clout, and you have to have maybe, a few connections. So we'll get into a whole nother, video on NIL deals, but it's pretty dope, pretty cool. Now, if you want to go D1, reach out to some D1 programs. Email coaches, contact coaches, let them know who you are, send them videos on yourself, let them know you play. Now, it's always better to just be recruited naturally. That's, probably the best process in terms of recruitment, where you just have, coaches that are just scouting you, recruiting you. But even for those players who have coaches recruiting them, they're still reaching out to different programs, or they might have already reached out to some programs, and that's why, the coaches are seeing them and checking them out, because they found out about them. But I do want to say this, if you just play and you're good and you're really good and you're making a buzz in your city, you're making a buzz in the conference, you're making a buzz around the country, people are going to recognize you, people are going to notice you. But don't just rely on that alone. Even if you're 6'11" and you're playing basketball and you're dunking on the whole world, put it on film, make some videos, and send it out so everybody can see it more. There's a lot of players now who have YouTube channels and different things like that. So, however you want to do it, just document and get some of the things you're doing down on video so you can send it out. You don't have to necessarily have a YouTube channel to do that. You could also have someone record you, at practice. You can have someone record you while you're working individually on your game and things of that nature, in the gym, on the field, so there are different ways to get it out there, but definitely try to have someone who's just recording you doing different workouts and also playing a game. That's very important too as well, like actual game footage. All right. A couple more points here before we get into some of the NCAA rules and regulations. It's very important that you work out if you want to go D1. So you need an amazing body. you need to be lifting weights. You know, when I say amazing body, I mean you need to, you know, be strong. You know, you need to have the look of a Division I athlete, and it's not all about looks, obviously, but the look helps with the talent, right? If you're 6'10" and you're trying to go D1, but you're a toothpick, you know, you're probably going to get that D1 scholarship because you're 6'10". I picked a pretty tall height there, but my point is that everything in terms of talent and ability that you have is going to be heightened if you work out. You're doing your push-ups, you're jogging, you're swimming, you know, you're lifting weights, you're eating good, you know, you're drinking your protein shakes, you're stretching, you're breathing. You know, this is all going to help in terms of you reaching your level of success for the D1, you know, opportunities that you have. And this is if you play volleyball, swimming, tennis, golf, football, basketball, whatever it is, baseball, workout. You know, that could be calisthenics, that could be light weightlifting, you know, weightlifting in general, but hopefully your high school has a weightlifting program where you guys are lifting and things of that nature. The same thing applies to you playing extra on another team. If you are working out with your high school team, you should be working out on your own. You know, one thing that my buddy and I started when I was in high school, after practice, we would go to the YMCA. We had everyone who was playing sports at the school would follow us and go as well. And we would stay there basically, you know, all day, all night, work out, and have like whole other workout sessions. So the level and commitment and focus was very, very strong. And it's important as well if you're trying to go to D1. I just thought about this from the story I just told, is being a leader, right? So being a natural leader is very important, and you want to be a leader in, you know, your life, in the classroom, and definitely within your sport. You know, just being a leader for the team, you know, being a captain or being someone that is reliable is extremely important. And lastly, before we get into some of these NCAA guidelines, I want to say this. You got to be a little crazy. You got to really want it. You got to just say, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to go D1. I'm going to make it. I don't care about the obstacles. If you live in a poor community, if you live in a rich community, wherever you live, no matter what you're doing, you just got to be crazy for it and say, I'm going to run through a brick wall for this. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. I'm going to make it, period. You got to have that mentality if you really want to go D1. And I guarantee you 90% of the people who have gone D1 and that are really doing their thing got that mentality. You know, they just don't care. Like, I don't care, leave me alone. And you can't worry about obstacles and distractions and people getting in your way. It's going to be all these obstacles and things going on. You got to stay focused and just lock in. Like, yo, I got to practice. Then after practice, I'm going home. I'm going to lift weights. You know, I'm going to eat good. I'm going to practice again. I'm going to work out on this team. I'm going to work out in the summer. You got to be a little crazy for D1 to get there. You know, it's the same thing for going pro. You know, I had the fortunate opportunity to play professional basketball overseas after my Division I career. And you have to really want it. You have to really want it in your heart. And you got to know that you can make it. And so with that being said, you know, be a little crazy in the right way for going D1. And you're definitely going to go D1. All right, let's get into some of these Division I academic eligibility rules and regulations and guidelines. Basically, I'm going to read a few different things, but I just want to say this. Basically, you have to be a student athlete. So you will never go D1 if you're just an athlete. I've seen, you know, some extremely talented individuals all around the country throughout history that have had a lot of game but didn't go D1 because they didn't have the grades. So I'm not even going to read these rules and regulations. You have to be a student athlete. You have to work hard in the classroom, just as hard in the classroom as you do on the field. You have to understand that class is very important. Grades are very important. You have to have, you know, 4 years of English. You have to have 3 years of math, 2 years of science. There's just basically different things. So talk to your counselors, talk to your principals, talk to your assistant principals, and make sure you have a high school academic schedule and career that matches up with the NCAA Division I guidelines. It's extremely important if you want to go D1. Now, I want to say this. Amazing topic today, guys. You're going to go D1. Believe in yourself. You can't be stopped. You won't be stopped. I look forward to seeing you playing D1. I look forward to seeing you being the best student athlete you can be. This is such an important topic, and I just want to thank you guys for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to have more amazing videos just like this about how to go D1, about just a variety of different things. I want to thank you guys again for being here. Reach out to me personally, and there'll be more opportunities to reach out to me personally. I will put you on a path and platform on how to go D1. I'm going to help a lot of people out there go D1. I actually have a book related to this topic. Once I get it published, it'll be in your hands, and it'll help you reach your goals and go D1. And it'll help you within education, success, life, reaching your goals, a wide variety of different things. This is another amazing, amazing, amazing episode of Succeed Success Group. Wishing everybody out there the best. Keep working hard. Keep doing your thing. And let's go! You can go D1. You can make it. I know you're going to make it. You got this. Keep going. Can't wait to see you. And just, work hard. You never know. You never know. But I know you're going D1. Let's go! Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys on the next one. This is another wonderful episode of Succeed Success Group. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you guys.